Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, October 10th, 2020. The fire potential impacts for the next few days are shown here. The big impact we're talking about for the next couple of days is a strong low pressure system moving into mainly the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies, bringing some precipitation to Idaho today, and then filling into portions of far northern Utah and far northeast Nevada overnight into Sunday. And then that precip will continue on Monday over the central Idaho mountains and up into western Wyoming. Ahead of that trough, however, we do have some really strong winds in place over much of the Great Basin, including Nevada, Utah, and up into southern southeast Idaho and western Wyoming for today, with high-risk triggers and red flag warnings issued for that wind event. Smoke at the surface is shown here for this morning and this afternoon. We do see a fair amount of smoke in place over Idaho today, but by this afternoon, as that cold front moves into western Idaho, we'll see the smoke pushed further east into eastern Idaho, and then we'll also see some smoke move up into southern Nevada and southwest Utah. We've got the same pattern for the upper levels with smoke in place over western and central Idaho this morning, which clears out by this afternoon, and then some smoke moves into southern Nevada and western Utah with that increased southwest flow. Precip for the past 24 hours is shown here. We just had a few little showers move through central and southern Utah, dry elsewhere with no lightning activity. Great Basin fire activity is shown on this map. We've had some larger fires pick up over southern Idaho and western Nevada with this very dry air mass and some of the increased winds. ERCs are very high for the time of year, especially over portions of Utah, southeast Idaho, up into southern Wyoming and northeast Nevada, where some of those areas are still setting records for the time of year. Values are high over central Idaho mountains today as well, although they will be coming down quite rapidly with the precipitation moving in by this afternoon. So taking a closer look here over south central Idaho, those values have been coming down earlier this month, but then with the warm and dry pattern over the past week to 10 days, those values are up near the historical records once again. And over far western Nevada, those values are setting records for the time of year. And in fact, those values are the highest we've seen so far this year. That is all about to change, however, with this very strong early fall storm that's moving into the Pacific Northwest today, bringing a good amount of precipitation. The Pacific Northwest, Idaho, and up in the northern Rockies, we will see just a little bit of precip over far northern Nevada and northern Utah, but a cool down is expected across the entire geographic area. So closer look at that trough by this afternoon and this evening, we will see some precip already beginning to move into western Idaho and cooler temperatures over northern Nevada. We do have high-risk triggers issued for much of southern Idaho, northern Nevada, and northern Utah. And that is because even though we may see some of this precip move in later this afternoon, it's still going to be quite dry and windy at the surface until later in the day. So definitely a critical fire weather day today out there with very high ERCs after a very long dry period and those winds moving in. Closer look at these winds showing the strongest gusts up to 45 or 50 miles an hour over western Nevada, southwest Idaho, and even eastern Idaho. And then also gusty over southwest Utah. The precip, 24-hour precip, shown here through the evening hours, is bringing that precipitation mainly into western and central Idaho, across to western Nevada or western Wyoming, and just very light amounts possible over far northern Nevada. Tomorrow, that trough quickly moves off to the north and east. This is the conditions by tomorrow evening. And we will have seen some precip continuing through the overnight hours and into tomorrow. We'll look at in just a minute. Still very windy out ahead of that trough in southern and southeast Utah for high-risk triggers there for tomorrow. So by tomorrow afternoon, still going to be gusty over eastern Idaho, although these will be post-frontal and humidities will be up quite a bit. Over here in eastern Idaho, especially southeast Idaho, still dry and windy there, so that's where we're highlighting for critical fire weather conditions. And then the 24-hour precip totals as of Sunday evening are shown here. This is mostly highlighting some overnight precipitation Saturday into Sunday morning for northern Utah and some of these areas. So as we move into the evening hours of Sunday evening, some of this precip should be clearing up. And then by Monday, that trough is off to the north and drier air moving back into the Great Basin. No high risk triggers. We do have quite a bit of green. Dryness levels in place across the north. Fire danger will have decreased significantly there. Still some dryness across the south. Monday will still be breezy across the north, however, but it's all going to be that post-frontal wind, higher relative humidities and such. And some precipitation will linger across the central Idaho mountains Sunday into Monday. Western Wyoming as well, but drier across Nevada and Utah. 3-day precip totals are shown here. Looking at a pretty good amount of precipitation expected over the central Idaho mountains and western Wyoming, with lighter amounts over southern Idaho, far northern Nevada, and northern Utah. For Tuesday, continue to see westerly flow in place over the Great Basin, so our temperatures will very gradually begin to warm back up after about that 20-degree drop between today and tomorrow. So mild, near seasonal temperatures, maybe just a little bit below into the first of next week, with some lingering high relative humidities across the north, and dry pattern continues across the south. Kind of continues into Wednesday. We will begin to see a ridge building over California and off the coast. That will bring in return of sunny skies region-wide and a gradual warming of temperatures. So that's going to continue into Thursday of next week. We can see the ridge really building across the west coast. Continuing to Friday, warm and dry across the Great Basin and all of the western U.S. And the 7-day totals are just highlighting what we're expecting really in the next 3 days, and then we move into a dry pattern after that. An extended forecast for October 17th through the 23rd continues to show above normal temperatures across the southwest, clipping the southern Great Basin, southern half of the Great Basin there, and below normal precipitation is expected during that same time frame as well. And this concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.